So I started scrolling through my Famicom games, and when I ran across Binary Land, I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely the game I'm going to throw in this video. Because it was something that I had barely played, and it was something I'd been looking forward to going ahead and trying again for quite some time. So I finally got an opportunity to play this again. Before I get into that, though, I wanted to say that I did get this game about 2 years ago from Windy Gaming. He was actually at Oktoberfest one year, and he brought a whole bunch of games in a bunch of containers for us to sort through and see if we wanted to buy anything. I know I bought a couple games, but this one I wound up buying for $20, and it was complete in the box. This is only the third Famicom game I have complete in the box. When I say complete, it's the cartridge, the manual, the box, and even the clear plastic tray that is inside the box. And looking at the cartridge, the manual in the box, this is like one of the pinkest games you'll see. Now, even though it didn't have any pictures or anything on the box, I kind of was aware what Binary Land was, and it was something I'd be able to play, so I really didn't hesitate in buying it. I think it was actually Electric Adventures that had shown the game beforehand, and it was like kind of stuck in my mind. And those are the type of Famicom games I like to buy. They're the ones that I can just plug in and play, the ones that weren't available in the US, that don't require any knowledge of the Japanese language, and it's just easy to figure out and play. So, what's the goal of this game? The goal, pretty much, is to get the two penguins on the other side of the screen where the caged heart is. The trick to this is that you either control the blue penguin or the pink penguin, and as you're controlling that penguin, the other penguin also moves, but in a mirrored fashion from what you do. So, moving up will move both penguins up, and the same thing for down, but if you move left, the other penguin will move right, and vice versa. Not only that, but the mazes are filled with obstacles and enemies, starting out with spiders and spider webs. Now, the spiders and the spider webs can be dealt with by spraying them. You have this unlimited spray, I'm guessing it's some sort of spider spray, because it'll kill the spider and it'll dissolve the webs. However, if one of your characters gets stuck in a web, the other character's got to go over there to free them. But if both characters get stuck in webs, well, then you lose a life. You also lose a life if one of the enemies touches you or if you run out of time. And in later stages, there'll be other enemies, like a bird, where if either character touches the birds, the two characters instantly get swapped places. And then there's a little fire guy, which I don't think can be destroyed at all. I only saw him once. I made it about 14 rounds into the game, and I don't even know how far into the game that is, but that's as far as I've made it in about an hour of playing it. But this game is pretty tricky to play because you've got to pay attention to not only your character, but the other character, trying to make sure both characters aren't going to run into an obstacle that will delay you in reaching the end. Plus, when you reach the end, you've got to perfectly position it so both characters are on the other side of the hearts. If any of them are off, then it's not going to count. But yeah, the real trick of this game is trying to control both characters at the same time, because oftentimes you might control one character into an obstacle without even realizing that you've done so. And sometimes you may be focused on one or the other character that you forget which character is mirrored or not. It can be a very confusing game, and you kind of have to play it for at least 10 minutes before you can start to get acclimated to the way everything controls. Every so often, there'll be a bonus level where you'll have to collect hearts and free the other penguin and do it all within a very limited amount of time. And if you can collect all the hearts and meet everything within the time limit, then you get a really big bonus score. This is one of those games where I think scoring points is a little bit more important than how far you get. Occasionally, things will appear that are worth points. Sometimes you go after them. I know there's a whale icon that appears that if you touch that, you get temporarily invincibility, even though that invincibility tends to last quite a long time. What I like to do is get that invincibility, then run around and destroy everything before finishing the level, because you can do it pretty fast. But the thing is, though, that these power-ups and these extra point things kind of disappear pretty quickly. So it's not even worth going for unless you're pretty close to them. And even then, sometimes they disappear just before I get to them. But yeah, overall, this is a really fun puzzle game. And if you're looking for a Famicom game that you can play, no problem without any Japanese translations or even trying to read the manual, then this is definitely a good game to get. The only downside is that once the game is over, you do have to start the game right from the beginning again. There's no level select. But that's such a minor detail, I think, in a game like this. And thanks everyone for watching. I'll see y'all next time.